And welcome to another edition of Oxford Citizen TV. John Rawl with Errol Castens here, and we're going to be in your mailbox on Friday of this week if you live in Lafayette County, but we wanted to also give you a little warning. Starting next week, we'll have 2 editions of the Oxford Citizen available for you. We'll be coming out in the mail on Thursday, July the 3rd this year, because July 4th is going to be a national holiday. There will be no mail delivery. So next week we already had a plan to come out on Thursday. We're going to start coming out in the mail on Thursdays starting next Thursday from that point on. So we'll have a Thursday edition in the mail, and then the Sunday edition, that's right, we'll start coming out with a Sunday edition. Will debut on Sunday, July 6th. That will not be mailed. That will actually be coming to you via the Daily Journal. If you have a Daily Journal subscription, it will come to you via that. Also, there will be several thousand copies available in Oxford for you to pick up for free, but it will not be sent out via the mail. So you'll have to go look for it either through a Daily Journal subscription or at select places throughout the area that we'll tell you more about on next week's edition of this very program. As we look forward to this Friday's paper, though, the last time we'll have just one issue out a week. Errol, I know there's a lot of interest in biking in the community, and the Pathways Commission is a big part of that.
Indeed. The Pathways Commission has recently come out with its annual report, and we'll talk about the progress that they've made, some of the things that they want to do yet, and some of the issues that go along with it.
I was at one of their recent meetings of the Pathway Commission, and they were really excited about, in Tennessee, they're looking at a law that will allow cyclists to not have to stop at a stop sign. It almost becomes a yield sign for them, and they're wanting to push for that same thing in the state of Mississippi. So we'll have a little bit of information about the Pathways Commission on in this week's Oxford Citizen. Also, if you're riding your bike or you're riding your car around Oxford, you might have noticed something on the horizon coming from the University of Mississippi campus. They're putting in a new water tower up.
They are indeed, replacing one that's been there for many decades.
Yep.
By Kennard Hall.
Yep.
We won't give away the punchline, but there will be a little historical interest in that.
And it doesn't involve you climbing up on that water tower and painting a love note or anything?
Not this time.
Okay. All right, that's a pretty big tower. Of course, this is actually, from what I've been told, the highest point on the Ole Miss campus is where this new water tower is going, right behind Kennard Hall, the old athletic dormitory. So look for this story about the water tower in this week's Oxford Citizen. Speaking of education, but more on the local level, the Oxford and the Lafayette school districts are kind of getting their budgets together.
Right. Their fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th. So they'll be starting new budgets this literally next week. And that's not some of the sexiest news around, but it's awfully important.
Yeah.
It will affect taxes, and it affects what goes on at the schools.
And I bet you your article is going to say both of their school districts' budget expanded and it's going up this year.
Given that our tax base here in the county, in both school districts, has gone up, I suspect so.
Okay.
Whether they vote for an increase or not.
All right, I didn't think it would be going down. Another story that you got that's going to be interesting to read is you're working on something about the Mississippi State Guard, and no, not the Bulldog basketball team. You're talking about something called the State Guard. What is that?
It's a part of the State Department of Military.
Okay.
And that sounds funny too, to most people's ears.
Right.
It's not the National Guard. It is, in one sense, an auxiliary to the National Guard, in that they take on, these are civilians, but they are in uniform when they're operating. They take on jobs that free up the National Guard in times of crisis to do things that only the National Guard can do.
Okay.
The State Guard is not armed, but they do have a certain presence that can help with security. They do anything from unloading trucks to providing that security, just a wide variety of ways to serve the community, and they do it all over the state.
And are we aware if this guard goes way back to 100 years or so of existence, or is it a rather new thing?
They have a long history.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how long, but
well, he'll cover it all in
Around
this
for a long
week's
time.
feature in the Oxford Citizen. And again, it'll be in this Friday's edition of the paper, and then starting again next week, will come out on Thursday, then on Sunday as well. So you'll get twice the excitement of the Oxford Citizen starting next week. For Errol Castens, I'm John Rawl, thanking you for viewing this edition of the Oxford Citizen, and we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for watching.